little bit of a glare, so I'm going to turn my lights off and see if that helps.
Beautiful.
That looks better. Just like being in the classroom. So this book is called Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge. And it is written by Mem Fox. What a cool name, Mem. It's illustrated by Julie Vivaz. Now get your thinking caps on, because you know I'm going to ask you how old this book is. And if this book was published, and I'm going to go to the back, if you're ever wanting to find out when your book was published, it's called the copyright date. And it's usually in the back, or sometimes it's up in the front. And this one was actually printed in 1985. 1985. All right, mathematicians, get that brain going. How old is this book? If it was published in 1985, and then it is now 2020.
All right, I have somebody with one answer. Gonna wait for some more.
Your answer in the chat box for Mrs. Harrison.
They're doing great. Okay. Have 3 different answers at the moment. Wow, I think some people are guessing on occasion.
All right. If
right.
anyone would like to share, raise your hand. How old do you think this book is?
How about Logan Peters?
I think it's 35 years old. 35.
35, he says.
You are right. So if you know it's 1985 and you count up to the year 2000, that would be 95, 10 years, 5 more would be 15. And then you have to add that 20, which would make 35. All right, so this book has a really strong message. So be thinking as I read aloud to you, what do you think the author's trying to teach us? What could we learn from the characters in this book? Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge. It's a picture of Wilford. The illustrations are beautiful. There was once a small boy called Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge, and what's more, he wasn't very old either. His house was next door to an old people's home, and he knew all the people who lived there. He liked Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. He listened to Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. He played with Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. He ran errands for Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. He admired Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. But his favorite person of all was Miss Nancy Allison Delacourt Cooper, because she had 4 names just as he did. He called her Miss Nancy and told her all his secrets. One day, Wilford Gordon heard his mother and father talking about Miss Nancy. "Poor old thing," said his mother. "Why is she a poor old thing?" asked Wilford Gordon. "Because she's lost her memory," said his father. "It isn't surprising," said his mother. "After all, she is 96. "What's a memory?" asked Wilford Gordon. He was always asking questions. "It is something you remember," said his father. But Wilford Gordon wanted to know more, so he called on Miss Jordan, who played the organ. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something warm, my child, something warm." He called on Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. What's a memory? He asked. Something from long ago, me lad, something from long ago. He called on Mr. Tippet, who was crazy about cricket. What's a memory? He asked. Something that makes you cry, my boy, something that makes you cry. He called on Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. What's a memory? He asked. Something that makes you laugh, my darling, something that makes you laugh. He called on Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. What's a memory? He asked. Something as precious as gold, young man, something as precious as gold. So Wilfred Gordon went home again to look for memories for Miss Nancy because she had lost her own. He looked for the shoebox of shells he had found long ago last summer and put them gently in a basket. He found the puppet on strings, which always made everyone laugh, and he put that in the basket too. He remembered with sadness the medal which his grandfather had given him, and he placed it gently next to the shells. Next, he found his football, which was as precious as gold. And last of all, on his way to Miss Nancy's, he went into the hen house and took a fresh, warm egg from under a hen. Then Wilfred Gordon called on Miss Nancy and gave her each thing one by one. What's a dear, strange child to bring all these wonderful things, thought Miss Nancy. Then she started to remember. She held the warm egg and told Wilfred Gordon about the tiny speckled blue eggs she had once found in a bird's nest in her aunt's garden. She put a shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot she had felt in her button-up boots. She touched the medal and talked sadly of the big brother she had loved, who had gone to the war and never returned. She smiled at the puppet on strings and remembered the one she had shown to her sister and how she had laughed with a mouth full of porridge. She bounced the football to Wilfred Gordon and remembered the day she had met him and all the secrets they had told. And the two of them smiled and smiled because Miss Nancy's memory had been found again by a small boy who wasn't very old either. And that's the story of Wilfred Gordon MacDonald Partridge. So now I'm wondering if you would tell me, either in the chat box or by raising your hand, what you think the message, what is the message or what is the author trying to teach us from that story? Any ideas? How about Madison?
Because the author's trying to teach us how to not remember, or how to remember your memory and how to be kind, and yeah.
What in the text made you think that?
Because the little boy was trying to bring back the Miss Nancy's memory, and it was kind.
Excellent. Anybody else have a different idea? I see Abby. Do you want to raise your, or want to unmute?
So what the text was that if somebody you know lost their memory, the little boy helped her remember what she did in the past, and now she found her memory. So pretty much help other people with their memories.
I like how Abby referred back to the text to infer that message. So great job. Many authors send more than one message. There's always many things you can learn from a book. And I think that's great because I think sometimes when people get older, they get forgotten at times. And I think that's not always the case, but it's sad sometimes to see. So I love that relationship between a young boy and an older person. We have to remember that the people in our lives and just people in general that are older are really wise. They've been here a long time and they've gone through a lot. It's like a living history book. So I always enjoy asking questions to the people around me who have been around longer. So it's a respect thing. And Wilford really showed that.
We have one other idea about what the book might be about. Serene is
at the end.
Has her hand up as well.
It's Serenade.
Thank you. I will get it right from now on.
Okay. It's okay. People get my name wrong.
All right. Well, thanks for giving me some grace.
The text is to get you to know that sometimes when older people forget a lot because people forget things a lot sometimes, and then when you get older there's a lot to remember, so you can help them by getting some of your stuff that would mean like a memory to you. That's what I thought.
I love that. And it's true. I think just having a conversation with the person, even if they have dementia or Alzheimer's, you may have heard of those. Maybe you have a family member who's gone through that or is going through that. It doesn't mean that they can't be reached. You still need to involve them in conversation, and next thing you know, they're back. Like I saw that with my grandparents. Like they go in and out. Like one minute they would know who I was and we'd have great conversation, and then they might go away for a little while. But I never stopped, right? I always tried to have those conversations. And Logan, I loved what you said in chat about it doesn't matter how old you are or how young, you can still be helpful. That's so true. And sometimes the younger kids are even better at it. So this leads me to our activity we're going to do today, and I think you guys are going to love it. We are going to come up with our own memory box, in a sense. A bag about me is kind of what we call it. If you were here, we would have given you a bag to put different items in that represent who you are. Before I go on any further, am I on large enough?
According to me, I'm not sure.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so what I wanted to do is share with you what I have done for my little bag about me. The directions are really just to collect items that show your interests, your hobbies, your beliefs, maybe your goals. The items can be photos, books, objects like shells, baseball, doll, etc., and so on. So you will be displaying these for us on a video later in the week. So don't worry about that yet. Maybe that's tomorrow's lesson, I think. But for today, your activity is just to collect these items like Mrs. Harrison and I have done. You can put them in a bag or a box or just in a little pile. It really doesn't matter since you're not actually bringing them to school. So let me give you some examples of what I put in my bag about me. The first thing is a bookmark, and I put a bookmark in there because I love to read. When I was a little girl, my mom worked in a bookstore, so I spent a lot of time in that bookstore helping put books on bookshelves and reading books and hanging out. So I got a lot of free books. Now my mom's a librarian, so I'm still getting books galore. So that's a big part of who I am. I also have an alligator. It's a squishy little alligator. And this represents the fact that I'm from Florida, where there's lots of alligators. And also that I went to the University of Florida for college, where our mascot was a gator. UF is the Gators. I brought in some photos of a bear that was outside of our house, outside our window a couple years ago. And that represents my love for the outdoors, for the wildlife here in Colorado. Coming from Florida, I really appreciate it because it's a lot different than Florida. I also have dog tags, and the dog tags represent my love for dogs. I have two. I have an English Golden Retriever who's 8, and then a Bernese Mountain Dog that's 1.5 years, almost 2 actually, and I'm a dog lover. Let's see, the apple. I eat an apple a day. I told you guys that this morning. Also, I love teaching, and apples represent teachers, and that's my passion. So there's my apple. I can't forget my family. Of course, they're number one. That's a picture of my husband, myself, when my kids were little. Aaliyah and Avery, they're much bigger now. But this is obviously very important to me, family and traditions. I have a picture of a dancer because a big part of my life was spent teaching dance, ballet, tap, jazz, and aerobics, and that's still near to my heart. Oh, this one, I forgot this in my video, but this is a die, and it represents my love for games. I always call myself a gamer, and my son makes so much fun of me because I don't mean video games. I am not good at that, but a board gamer. I like playing any game, Farkle, cards, any board game. I even like cornhole, that's my latest. And then I have a shell because I spend a lot of time on the beach. Since we're from Florida, my family's still there, my husband's family's there, so we go back a couple times a year usually. I could go on and on. I'll do one more, and this is just a compass because I hike a lot and love to go on adventures, so kind of represents all the different directions you can go. You never know where you'll end up. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Harrison so she can show you her bag.
Okay, so did it flip over to me by any chance, Mrs. Aubin?
So I see you big
You see
on
me?
my screen, but I saw you the whole time.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So does everybody else see me big now, hopefully? Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
I do.
All right, so you'll notice that, most of our items are fairly small, so that's why I have to keep holding them to the camera. Just make sure that whatever you pick for your bag is something that, that we can easily sort of see when you're doing your video, so you can, be able to show it. All right, so you're gonna find out some of these things in this bag seem a little familiar because you might have just seen similar ones with Mrs. Aubin. We have a lot of things in common. All right, so the first one is my Kermit the Frog. If anybody knows me, they know that I love the Muppets. In fact, my phone ringtone is the Muppet Show theme, and I can't wait for Friday so that on the Disney Plus channel, they're putting on new Muppet shows, and I'm obsessed with Muppets, so I love those. So here's my Kermit the Frog. These are no in particular order. My son is a drummer. He only let me have the drumstick because it was broken, because he's very protective of his materials, but this one was broken, so he let me have it. But he's a drummer, so I really love my son. I'm a teacher in school, and school buses usually represent schools, even though I don't drive a bus, and you really wouldn't want me to. Big vehicles are not my thing. In here, I also have a cross made out of palms, dried palms from Palm Sunday. Church is a big part of my family's life. Everything went to the bottom. This should be familiar. I have dog tags as well, because I have dogs that are really important to me, and they one is named Buddy, and the other one's named Maggie. I also have a little. This is there we go. It's a Rotary pen. Mr. Harrison is in the Rotary Club, and he does a lot of volunteer work, and that's very important to him. He's important to me. And then my family likes to, when we travel, I don't know how many of you like to do this, but we have about, I don't know, a couple hundred of these squished pennies. They have those squished penny machines that they have in various places when you go on a trip. Let's see, I don't even know which one this one is from. Durango. So I'm from Durango, so that was in there. And then I'm surprised Mrs. Aubin didn't have, she might have one in the bottom of her bag. This is a puzzle piece. Mrs. Aubin and I like to do big puzzles. And in fact, Mrs. Harrison broke her foot this summer, and I spent a lot of time doing puzzles. And I have a little purple heart. Purple because it's for my daughter. Her favorite color is purple, and she's a very big part of my life and my heart. And then the last item, Mrs. Harrison also at Christmas doesn't have one Christmas tree. I have two, because the family gets one of them, and then I get my very own Christmas tree, because all of my I cover the entire tree with these little funny different kinds of activities that Santa does. I have him fishing, and this one's he's on a parachute. And he does all kinds of, he's from Hawaii, and he's doing a hula, and I've got the whole tree is covered with Santas. And when Santa comes to our house, that's where the Santa presents go, is under that tree. And then all of our other presents go into another tree. So just some things about me. All right, Mrs. Aubin, I'm done.
Okay, so as you can see, when we share these items, you immediately make connections. And even though I didn't have a puzzle piece in my box, I now know that I have something in common with Mrs. Harrison, which I already knew. But this is a get to know you activity, and especially the fact that we're remote and some of you are staying remote, it's a good way for us to connect over remotely. And especially when we do come in person, for some of you, you will know. Maybe Robert and Abby have something in common and they don't know that yet, but they'll find out by doing this activity. And just to give you an idea, we keep saying your video. I want to give you a heads up. Today, you are just collecting the items, put them in a bag or in a box, whatever it is. Tomorrow, we will be sharing with you how we are going to make a video where we share that. That is not today. Don't even worry about it, but that's what we were referring to. Okay, I see some questions. So let's hear from Serene. Go ahead and unmute.
So if we already know one thing we're going to put in the bag, can we show you now, or do we have to show it on the assignment?
Okay, so as soon as we end this Zoom, you are to go find your items. So that is your activity for today. And then come back at 3 o'clock. My friend Miss Magoo said you guys were awesome. And she said she'd come back again today. So I hope you liked her. She's a good friend of mine.
And I know that some of you are also not at your home right now. Maybe you're at ACC or some other places. So it's okay. You can go collect those items when you get home. Just when you get a chance, you'll want to get those together for the next time we use them.
It looks like Charlie Carr has a question.
Just what I was going to say. Perfect.
In Epic, do you have to read the whole book, or if you just read it in general, does it make anything? Because I read the book.
So you read part of a book, but not the entire book?
I didn't read the entire book.
Okay, of course. Well, you probably didn't have time at this point. So it measures, the Epic on our side measures two things. It measures when you finish a book, and it measures how much time you were reading. And so we get those two things. So somebody might be reading one book for 3 hours over some days. And then, so we'll know what the time is. And then some will give us, like somebody read, like say 4 short books in 20 minutes. It depended on the book. So hopefully if you picked the just right book for you, Charlie, then just read, as long as you read those times, that's, for that amount of time, that's super fine. No worries. I also saw, I think Cooper had his hand up. Yep, Cooper, would you like to ask a question?
How many items do we need to collect?
So there's not a set number. Obviously, I think I have one, two, three, like about a dozen or 12 to 15 maybe. But
Yeah,
if
and
you,
I had 10. So
okay, yeah, so if you can't find that many, that's okay too. If there's no real limit, of course, we don't want 100. Good question, but I would say like 10 to 15 would be efficient. And I still don't know your name, sweetie. 8V2SM2. If you can please log in with your name, that's going to help us out so much. Tell me your name. What's your name, honey?
Gabe.
Gabe.
Gabe, you're mine. Okay, Gabe Levine. Hi, Gabe. I'm so glad to see you. I just don't know everyone yet. So
Gabe, are you at ACC today? Yeah, so is it a little loud behind you? Yeah, I'm so sorry. Is that what you meant yesterday by it being kind of hard? Because it was really loud at ACC? Yeah, okay.
you'll be in person soon, so
Yeah,
that
we'll
helps.
see you soon. All right.
What's your question?
Yeah, question?
So, are we gonna turn in the stuff tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll do the video to share.
Okay.
So tonight you can collect your items, or even tomorrow if you run out of time.
Okay.
Good question. Serene, do you have another question? Or a question? I can't hear you, honey. I don't know why.
I'm unmuted.
I hear you now. It's because you were too far away. Get close.
So can we do like one on the first day of school? You said we could show our pets, but we didn't do that one. Are you gonna set that one up on a different day or no?
So are you asking if you want it, because you think you want to put the pet in the video perhaps? Is that what you're wondering? Or if we're just gonna have another activity where, so the video is, you want to make it kind of fluid because so that everybody can see it. So if it's convenient to have that pet and just show that pet real quick, great. We don't want the video to be entirely about your pet. Or you know what I would do, because my dogs would not follow directions. So I would just have a picture of my dogs instead, and I would just put their, I might do a picture. But you could include a pet as long as your video is not about your pet. And it really is about items that mean, that kind of show your personality. So we don't really want to get into a big, animal situation because they steal the show. You know how they are? They steal the show. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. How about Haley? Haley B.
Mine isn't a question. It's just like it's a reflection to one of your things that you showed me. So the stuffed animal, Kermit, I can do the voice Kermit the Frog.
Oh, very nice. I'll hit you up at some other point. Maybe I can use use it for some sort of good purpose. Good to know. Thank you, Haley. All right, I saw Evie has her hand up.
There's one.
Oh, you're gonna need to move a little closer to your computer because I can't quite hear you.
So one thing, correct. I like also the Muppets too, and I really like Squished Pennies.
All right, very good. See, we're making connections right now. This is excellent. All right. Any last final questions before we go, Mrs. Aubin?
I do have some questions. I just want to see if Josh Carter is here. If you are here, unmute and say, I'm here, Mrs. Aubin. Josh Carter. Josh?
He's with me right now because his power went out and we're neighbors.
Oh, look at that. The both of you. All right. And that's Leo, right?
Oh, so Leo's here. Leo Miller? Nice to see you. Okay, Sunny Poe. Are you here, Sunny? Lucas Stewart?
Yeah, I haven't seen Lucas today yet. I don't think. Is he there?
Lucas Stewart, are you here? Lyric Valdez.
Yep, she's there. I see her.
Does it say Angelique?
Yeah,
Lyric-
Angelique's here, but so is Lyric. Lyric has our little code in it that we got to get her fixed. So she is here though.
All right. I don't see her.
I see her. She's right here. I see her. Do you want Lyric? Wave your hands real quick. Wave your hands around. So Mrs.
Oh, there she
Allen's
is. I see you finally.
Thank you.
I don't know why I couldn't see you. You and Angelique look a little bit alike, I will say.
All right.
The glasses. I have one more. I need to see if Charlie Van Rickley.
I had Charlie. We're good. He's here.
Okay, thank you.
Or not.
That's all I needed. Did you need any, Mrs. Harris?
I think between the two of us, I think we've got it.
All right, you guys.
And the class, Haley wanted to know if we have to go to Mrs. Magoo's class. You do not. It is optional at 3 o'clock.
Just for fun. Okay, guys, we'll have fun collecting your items. I can't wait to see what you bring, and I can't wait to see the things we have in common. Have a great evening, and if you didn't get your Epic done or your keyboarding, you can always do it later this evening, and we will see you at 9:30 tomorrow if you don't make it to the 3 o'clock show. All right.
Excellent. All right. Bye, my friend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.